Camp Vengeance. A timber-walled structure is surrounded by a muddy moat. Corpses lay dead that failed their attack on this fortified place. The survivors of the Camp Righteous attack moved here and took better precautions. Shame about the location though. The Aldani Basin, with its swarms and stinks, still permeates this area when the winds are right. The Order of the Gauntlet here consists of exhausted and often disease-ridden knights. In charge is Commander Niles Breakbone, a worshipper of Tyr, god of law and justice. He's more suited to worshipping than leading. Breakbone's two captains serving him, Ord Firebrand, a male dwarf, and Pern Salhana, a female human. These are the ones who see to it that the troops and the guards fight the good fight against the evils that exist on these long hot days in the jungle. Sister Sayas is the priest who rallies her collection of 6 acolytes to heal the wounded here, back from the fight. A further Chultan leader called Lorsa Bilwattle leads 15 tribal warriors in helping the order. Wolf Rygor is a friend of Breakbone's, and I imagine he does very little. I think he's just here because he's a friend of the commanders and he just doesn't really have a role. And I bet there's a lot of grievance undercover about that. 1. The river here plays a vital role in the safety of this camp because we need supplies via the river. And maybe more importantly, the river is the only real good escape route. Reminder that during the storms, these canoes flood and sink. I've got a weather die which would be really useful in this adventure. Area 2. The gates at the entry will not open until one of the leaders says that's alright. It's a 2-storey tower and the upper part is where they actually keep all the spare weapons and armour, because the muddy environment of the actual camp itself is disgusting. In fact, the floor is ankle deep in mud and there's rats, spiders are massive and flies, and they make this place an undesirable place to stay. 2 guards are always manning the gates from a 2nd floor platform. 3. These tall watchtowers are short-staffed but high enough to see over the jungle. The lower sections have been walled in with thin wood to make temporary staying quarters for the Chultan warriors to stay in. Now Lorsa and Wolf slum it here also with their battalion to show some humility. 4. There are 4 goats in a pen, and it highlights the hardships in living in the jungle if you rely on supplies via those canoes. Area 5. These hospital tents house coughing patients and coughing nurse types who deal their weakening healing spells, which only slow death rather than cure it. Now the players could win over Sister Sayas just by helping her with healing. She knows the commander is giving orders which will bring them all to ruin, and she'll see the healthy healing PCs as potential saviours. 6. In this command tent, Commander Breakbone and his half-baked maps of Chult. He's not trained for jungle warfare. I kind of imagine him as a naval officer who's been plonked in a place he's just not familiar with. He's a literal fish out of water. But everyone respects him on a military level. You know, all the people are beneath him. They take orders from him. Now, Breakbone will demand of the adventurers that they play a vital role in this new war and will not take no for an answer. In fact, he's prepared to court-martial them on the spot. If they don't take 8 ill soldiers up to Port Nyanzaru and pass on messages to his aboves. He wants them to know that the jungle is winning and they need help. We've mentioned Sister Sayas having secret doubts, but also the 2 captains, Ord and Pern, do too. If pressed successfully, they want to live rather than die. 7. The soldier tents are a mix of dirt and despair. These are inadequate for anybody civilised to stay in. Area 8. The river's sodden banks cause these toilet holes to overflow and spread across the land. In fact, people have stopped bothering to use them and just go feral when nature calls. So you'll need some veteran stats, guards, acolytes, tribal warriors, nothing taxing.